verse number 21. Trividham narakasyedam dvaram nasanam atmanaha kama krodhastata lobha tasmad edatrayam tyajet. As we have been discussing this Asuri Sampada. So this verse happens to be the last verse of this Asuri Sampada, which we started from verse number 7. So you can say 7 to 21 is the description of Asuri Sampada. So finally says, Kama, Krodha, Tatha, Lobha, Idam, Trividham, Dwaram, Iti. So this desire, anger, and Lobha, the greed. So these three are the gateway to what? Naraka. So to the hell, means to the painful experiences. And of course, Atmanaha Nasanam Iti. So is the cause of one's own destruction. Tasmat, because of this reason, therefore, Tyajet, one should give up. Etat Trayam, these three. Already we have given this logic, why and how to give up. Because in the last class we used the word, here it's not giving up, but it is more what? Qualitative change. That means from tamasic kama to rajasic kama, and finally from rajasic kama to sattvic kama. Also we have discussed in details how the tamasic person falls down, whereas a rajasic person is a stagnant person. So both way, the purpose of life is not addressed, not fulfilled. And also we have seen kamayasa, krodhayasa, rajoguna samudbhava in 3rd chapter. So looking at that also when we try to understand, so that means what? Again, this is also rajasic and definitely we are stuck. So if we are stuck, automatically our what happens? Our purpose of life is not being addressed. So if this is the case, now we need to shift our vision to a different level. So that is called sattvic level, and here is being highlighted as Daivi Sampada. Now, let us go to the next verse, as we have already discussed 21, okay? 22. Yeteri vimuktah kaunteya tamodvare strivir naraha acharatyatmanah shreyah tato yati param gatim. Now, here really one has to be very careful to understand few aspects. He says, if we look at the meaning literally, O Kaunteya, means O Arjuna, O son of Kunti. Naraha, a man, Vimuktaha. So Vimukta means the one who is free. So free from what? Not the ultimate Vimukta wise person. No, not necessarily. He says, Yeteihi Tribhihi Tamodvareihi. So the one who is free from these three. So, what are these three? Kama, Krodha and Lobha. But he doesn't use the word Kama, Krodha, Lobha, but he wants to remind you painfully, differently. Tamodvarehi. So these three leads to what? Leads to tamas, darkness. So this is dwara, gates. So gates to darkness. So what does mean the word darkness? So darkness is nothing but uncertainties. So whenever there is desire, and we are talking about binding desire, impulsive desire, you can use the word tamasic desire and rajasic desire, both. Now, in short, Puja Swamiji uses the word called binding desire. So this desire leads to darkness, means uncertainties. Then what happens? Then the person definitely, when understands that these three are leading to uncertainties, now this person is free. That means what happens to the person? Now he says, Naraha acharati. So that person starts following or follows. So what does he follow? Atmanaha sreha iti. So what is good for oneself? Because earlier the person was following what is good for sense organs, what is good for my whims and fancies, what is good for one's own ego. So the person was a prakruta purusha. So based on the instinct, the person moves. Mind says, I must do this. I don't bother. I don't care. I don't listen to anything, anybody. Because I know I am right. It's after my life. Who are you to interfere? Who are you to talk? I have to live my life. I know what is right, what is wrong. Don't teach me. You understand? These are the language, okay? So that person, now what happens? Because of a Priya, that's what we say, Sreyascha Preyascha Dausamparitya. In Kathopanishad, that there are two types of margas, two types of path. One is Shreya, other one is Preya. So if you choose prayer, that which happens to be good for you at that moment, this is called momentary pleasure. Momentarily it addresses your need. Now that prayer marga will never allow you to go to Shreya marga either. Because the prayers and Shreyas are entirely different. So here what he uses very carefully, the one who is under the spell of Kama, Krodha and Lobha, definitely that person is a Preya Margi, follows the marga, the path of prayers. Whereas when the person is able to transform or has transformed himself from tamasic, rajasic, kama, krodha, lobha to sattvic, definitely that person goes to what? Very carefully called Shreya Marga. So he uses the word Atmanaha Shreya. It is not Indriya Shreya. It is not Ahankara Shreya. It is not my Parivara Sneha. You understand? I am doing for my family. What is good for my family, I do it. Hey, who are you to do for good for your family? So that's why what is good for oneself. So how to know that what is good for oneself? So there's a very, gap, there is a quantum jump. So this gap has to be fulfilled through the quantum jump. Why? When the person is in Prema Marga, need a guru. Without the help of a guru, the person cannot jump from Prema Marga to Shreya Marga. Impossible. That's why in cultural practices, even the person, please understand, follows all ethical values and everything, but still the person need not become a Shreya Margi, but will be Prema Margi in a higher level. The person will be interested to go to heaven, maybe Indrapada. Because if I am aiming at Indrapada, the position of Indra, that means what? Still I am a Prema Margi. Because I have certain, desire. I want to be served by, I don't know whether all the gods or goddesses, I don't know, but definitely I will be served by all these women and with, dance and whatnot, okay? And the best part is, I can send any woman to destroy others' austerity tapas, so that nobody can take over my position. I can make it very clear. So here is being used very carefully. A Prema Margi to shift the road from prayer to Shreya needs the help of Guru. It's exactly like you are walking one particular road. That road leads to a direction. How to know that this direction is wrong? Unless and until somebody points you out. Somebody literally convinces you. Only when, I want to reach the end of the road, then I can come back or find out the other. Hey, there is no end at all. You are in the loop. And that's why you can see Prema Marga is nothing, is literally you are in a loop. That's why you always work with familiarities. In fact, we say that person is a Prema Margi, the one who only is comfortable with a known or comfortable zone. So if little bit uncomfortable situation appears, if little bit challenging situation appears, the person collapses. So that's why we very, very carefully say that person is a Prema Margi, the one who is always comfortable in a loop, in a habitual atmosphere, in a known atmosphere. Whereas a Shreya Margi is always open. So wherever person goes, makes himself or herself comfortable. Let me not get into it because this is not the topic, this is not psychological aspect here. So here he says that because of the Guru, now the Prema Margi becomes a Shreya Margi. So once the person comes the Guru's teaching, now accepts that Shreya Marga and understands what is good for, not for my body-mind complex, but for me, that means oneself. Then what happens? tataha, because of that only, means because of the Guru's grace and teaching. Tataha means because of that only. Yatihi, he goes or attains paramam gatim iti, to a higher end called moksha. Because why we bring very carefully the Guru here? Because only just managing or shifting this kama krodha loha from tamasic to rajasic, again rajasic to sattvic, is not going to solve the problem. Yes, I was tamasic arrogant, rajasic arrogant. Now I am sattvic arrogant. I am not arrogant at all. You understand? This is the difference. Earlier, like this, okay? Then next is what? No, I am not arrogant at all. Only this is the difference, nothing else. But that I am wise or I understand me, that never happens. Don't worry. So while looking at this, the person has to be careful that how this Guru comes to the picture and takes care of my basic confusion, so that I conveniently, comfortably shift from Preya Marga to Shreya Marga and stick to it. Continuing. Yasastra vidimuschurya vartate kamakaratah nasa siddhimavapnoti na sukham na param gatim. So again says, look, as we said, already from 22nd onwards, this especially 3 verses summarizing the teaching, shifting to this Asura Sampada, from Asura Sampada to Daivi Sampada. So here he says very nicely that what he says, Yaha Shastram Vidhim Utsrujya. So this person, what he does, Utsrujya, the one who has given up. So having given up, so what the person has given up? Shastra Vidhim. The injunctions of Shastra will be seen in details. Why and how. Sa yaha vartate, he who lives. And how? Kamakaratah, according to the impulse of own desire. Now, that person avapnoti, attains. Sanaraha, what happens? Avapnoti, attains what? Na siddhim. Means he attains neither maturity. So siddhi means here accomplishment, means maturity. I will be coming to this point very carefully, okay? How the maturity is related to success, accomplishment. And nor sukham, nor happiness. And of course, nor param gatimiti, nor a higher end. Now when we look at this very carefully, also we need to see. First is Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya. So Yaha Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya. Now means what? The person who gives up, does not believe, does not follow the injunction of this wonderful Shastra. So Shastra, when you say, mainly, basically is Veda. So what is Shastra? Anadhigata avadhita Shastra. So we have to understand Shastra, when we translate scripture, everything goes other way around. In fact, I remember last year when we had this Arshavidya meet, so all this, especially, so the person started, quoting, scripture says, in fact, some of the other sannyasis objected him, please don't use scripture. Then what is the difference between a preacher and you? Because every religion has their scripture. Now, for example, if now we have 10 to 20 people joined together, now we will start a religion, we will create a God, and whatever I say, I write. That becomes Shastra for you people. And if I am dead, any one of you take over, can write on behalf of me, say this is the last testament, there is no other person can write, nobody can question, and that becomes Shastra for later on people. So Shastra means anadhigata, na adhigata iti. Means the subject matter must not be available in any other source of knowledge, means of knowledge. If anything is available, for example, that's why we say Shastra as a pramana, next time it will come, that is called Shastra, the subject matter must not be available anywhere. It must be fresh, not copied, okay? Copyright strike will come. Like in YouTube, how mess. Everything is a copyright strike. But thank God, this is good. I accept and appreciate, even though we went away, don't worry. But remember, at least make sure that if you have violated a copyright, that means you are wiped out. But in religion case, only copyright and they survive in a better way. They copy it and they survive in a better way. However, he says beautifully, anadhigata, avadhita. It never goes through any negation. Not subject to go through negation. No vadhita. It cannot be negated. You cannot say Old Testament, New Testament. It doesn't work. It will not work. That means if you say Old Testament and New Testament, that means what? It is not Shastra at all. That's why, let me not get into too much. So, Jnana Janakam, it must generate knowledge. That's why Shastra must propose, not impose. It imposes, it is not a Shastra at all. It just proposes, tells what is right, what is wrong. If you do right, these are the things you will get. If you don't do, these are the things will happen. So it's completely transparent and there is no hidden agenda. Of course, it cannot be negated, subject to negation. Only when you follow me, I will take care of you. If you don't follow me, I will not take care of you. But here, when we say Shastra, everybody is part of. If I do wrong, even if I happens to be God, don't worry, I will come under the problem. If I do right, of course, even if I am God, I will also get good things. That's why, especially in Hinduism, all these incarnated people also go through the problem, even though they are born with the total karma phala. For example, when Krishna was born, because of the prayer of all people put together, Lord Krishna was born. So when he was born for a purpose, and when he did some mess, for example, to take care of the total karma, he had to fight. He had to fight. And even though he cannot be part of the war called Mahabharata war, but he was the Sutradhara, so in his presence everything happened. Finally, because he was the cause indirectly, that's why he had a curse from Kunti, that as my children were dead, had you thought of, had you wanted, all would not have happened. Because of you it happened. So as a mother, in front of my eyes, all the children died. Now I curse you, in front of you, all your family will be destroyed. And Lord Krishna had to go through. This is not one incident. I can give you many incidents. That is called Shastra here. So from the Shastric view, nobody can escape. And there is no shortcut at all. So that's why he says, Yaha Shastram Vidhim Utsurya iti. So the one who gives up this injection of Shastra, especially here is Karma Kanda. Because when you look at Shastra, mainly it is Veda, and Veda Purva Bhaga called Karma Kanda, and which also follows, also we get Smriti Granthas. So Smriti means, please understand, Smriti means after studying Veda called Shruti, when a Rishi writes from his memory is called Smriti. So starts with, like Mahabharata comes under Smriti Grantha. Of course, Manusmriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, there are different Smriti Granthas we do have. There are plenty. And of course comes Itihasa, Puranas, also Prakarana Granthas, all these things put together. Of course in Veda, Brahmana, Samhita, all these 5 are there included. Put together everything is called Shastra. And Veda, Upaveda, it's a huge list, okay, of Shastra. It's not one word. That's why scriptures doesn't solve the purpose. However, here it's being used that if the person does not follow, why he does not follow? Why she does not follow? Because of kamakarataha. So the person lives according to the impulse of desire. Because I have my fancies, I have my understanding, I have my way of living, I have my brought up. You don't know Swamiji, I am, you understand? What is that? So that's why, because of that reason, why to look at Shastra? That's why let me listen to Swamiji conveniently. So whatever is required, let me listen. Whatever not, Swamiji, I don't understand. I think I need not understand. That's the serious part, okay? Swamiji, I don't understand. It's okay. I need not understand. I think this is beyond my head. I see. But I want to use your words conveniently. Whatever is useful, I must. Other than that, please don't get into too much, okay? Swamiji, can you go ahead? Next verse. Coming to the point. Oh, I am supposed to say one more verse today. I'll take a little more time. Sorry. No, so because of that reason, no, let us say, no abapnoti. So that person does not attain. So what does attain? Siddhim. So siddhim means success, but I translate as maturity. Because maturity is success. The more you are matured, the more you are successful in the eyes of yourself and of course in the eyes of others. If you don't have maturity, but you have siddhi, success. Now what will happen? Let us say you have siddhi with reference to money. What will say? Oh, he is a rich person. That's all, but not successful. Whereas when you are matured and you have richness, so that is called success. In fact, when you are matured, whatever you have, you use for yourself, you use for your growth, you use it properly. Whereas when there is no maturity, whatever you have, you abuse or misuse. Whether you like it or not, you can observe yourself. So that's why, instead of running behind so-called success, so people want success to prove, to show off. Common people, success means what? How much I can be exclusive, how much I can show off, or how much I can be exclusive. That exclusiveness is called successful life. But in reality, the more you become exclusive, the more pain you have go through, unless you have maturity. Imagine you have all sort of success, there is nobody with you. And you are not matured. What will happen? Will you go crazy or not? It is better not to have success. You understand? I remember with this, today I don't know why I am in a good mood to talk. Like, in Indian context, I can use this very nice concept. It was very heart-touching. So there was one superstar. In fact, he happens to be the first superstar of so-called stars, okay? Called Rajesh Khanna. So long back, I was listening to one of his interview, which was a very popular interview. When those days when there was no telephone, very few people will be having telephone. So if any director or anybody calls him, he will be sitting there, but he will not pick up. And he will ask his subordinate, somebody will be there, pick up. And I personally have seen many people, they pick up the phone, hello, hello. They will keep changing and talking, he is not there. And nowadays, a lot of apps are there, a lot of things there to attend your telephone calls. Nowadays, new business, especially in West and India also started. There's a new trend now. However, same person said towards the end, he said, time came, I was looking for a telephone call. So anytime telephone call rings, I go to pick up. Then after that, I'll say, I am Rajesh Khanna speaking. Straight away, the person will say, oh, sorry, wrong number. Hey, do you understand? I am Rajesh Khanna, the film hero, the actor. Sorry, wrong number. I am not interested. Imagine the person has all success, but now no maturity. What a hell. I'm sorry, with due respect. I'm not supposed to talk directly about a person because it's not right either. So maybe he was matured, who knows? Okay? Just example sake, I brought it very carefully. So now he says that you need to be a mature person in order to enjoy, and with maturity, whatever you have when you enjoy, that is called success. That's why here he says neither maturity and of course nor sukham nor happiness. So when I work according to my impulse of desire, definitely I feel elated, I feel happy at that moment. Later on, I don't have any other choice other than regret. And of course, not a higher end. Forget higher end, even if I will not have high energy, okay? End is far ahead, far ahead. So that's why, then what is to be done? Let us read the next verse so that we will complete today. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavastito gyat shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum irha harshe. Says, look, because of all the reasons, tasmat, therefore, that's a beautiful word, okay? Shastra pramanam iti. Shastra is the means of knowledge. Oh Arjuna, you cannot use your fancies. You cannot give your logic. That look, they are my parents, grandparents, my teachers. I don't want to fight with them, against them, this, that. I must take care of them. How can it be possible? Hey, shut your mouth, shut your logical thinking. So for you, oh Arjuna, means for anyone at any given moment, Shastra is the means of knowledge. Especially when there is a confusion. That's why we say very carefully. When I am in a confusion, I must not decide. I must take the help of Shastra or a Shastravit, the one who knows Shastra. Because whenever I am in a confusion and I decide, definitely I use my logical thinking, finally what happens, you know better. That's why it says Shastra being the means of knowledge. Like how eyes sees the objects, the color and form. With reference to color and form, the eyes are the boss. So also with reference to confusion, remember, Shastra is only the boss, not your experience, not your intuition, not anything. And of course, we look at many other factors. Let us not get into too much in details. Karya, akarya, vyavastito. He says, what is that confusion? Confusion is related to what? Do's and don'ts. That's why he says, karya, akarya, vyavastito. In determining the do's and don'ts. What is to be done and what are the things not to be done. Gyatva, by knowing Shastra Vidhana Uktam, that is prescribed by this mandate of Shastra. Arhasi, you are obliged, kartum karma ihaiti. You are obliged to do the action or your duty that is to be done here. So that means you don't have option. You cannot say, oh, this is my duty, my priority. And how you decide? Remember, your duty, your priority is completely based on your insecurity. Does it happen or not? Look at your duties. Look at your priorities. Swamiji, I have to go to the office now. Now tell me, when you are going to the office, is it your duty or your insecurity? So all your duties, all your priorities is completely governed by your insecurities. And you name it as duty. Very unfortunately. And you argue for that. And when you start arguing on that, what happens? Do you degrade yourself or not? Have you not observed that in your life? That's why it's being highlighted. Look, with reference to that karya or karya, with reference to do's and don'ts, in determining the do's and don'ts, only Shastra helps. The mandate of Shastra. What is prescribed by the mandate of Shastra, that is final. Neither you nor we, anybody can interfere. That's why continue. O Arjuna, please continue your action based on the Shastra. Thus, the 16th chapter completes. We will see tomorrow the summary. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.